2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday the 14th of January, and it's Dress Up Your Pet Day. And a big happy birthday to Emily Watson, Jason Bateman, Dave Grohl and LL Cool J. The artist formerly known as His Royal Highness Prince Andrew. It's more bad news for Andy. In an unprecedented move by the Queen, he's been stripped of all his military titles and royal patronages as he prepares to face a civil case in the United States accusing him of sexual assault. He also won't be able to call himself His Royal Highness anymore, and the door's been closed on him returning to public duties. A source close to Prince Andrew said he would continue to defend himself against Virginia Giuffre's allegations, although he'll now have to do it as a private citizen. They added that Andrew was unsurprised his bid to dismiss his lawsuit failed, but said the case was a marathon, not a sprint. Sunday Times royal editor Roy Anika told Channel 4 News the move by the Queen meant the end of the Prince's royal life forever.
There are no good options left for the Duke of York now, even if he's able to achieve a settlement, which we know from Virginia Giuffre's lawyers was on the table. We're not clear whether Virginia Giuffre is going to accept that. He is never going to get back those royal titles and affiliations. That's gone forever. So this hope that we've heard from Prince Andrew for the last couple of years, I hope that he'd be able to return to public duties and clear his name. The Queen has now completely shut the gate and there's no way back.
A day after he said sorry for going to a lockdown drinks party, on Thursday, Boris Johnson was absent from official duties after a family member tested positive for COVID. The news about Downing Street parties didn't stop, though, as the Telegraph revealed 2 more, including one the night before the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. You might remember the Queen had to sit alone at the funeral to follow guidelines at the time. Boris won't be able to isolate himself for long, as Sajid Javid announced the self-isolation period for those who test positive for COVID was being cut from 7 to 5 days.
We've made the decision to reduce the minimum self-isolation period to 5 full days in England. From Monday, people can test twice before they go, leaving isolation at the start of day 6.
Meanwhile, Professor Jonathan Van Tam has resigned from his role as England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer. He became known for his football analogies to explain the pandemic and had been on loan from the University of Nottingham. Labour's Wes Streeting paid tribute to Jonathan before he blows his final whistle in March.
It wasn't the government resignation we were looking for. JVT already has a knighthood, but working with the Prime Minister, he must have the patience of a saint. And so on behalf of the whole Labour Party, we thank him for his service and we wish him well for the future. He is truly, Mr Deputy Speaker, a national treasure.
MI5 has warned MPs that a suspected agent of the Chinese government has infiltrated Parliament. It said Christine Lee had acted covertly and engaged in political interference on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. She gave donations to MPs, including Labour's Barry Gardiner, who received over £400,000 in donations and had hired her son as his diary manager, who's since resigned. Barry says he has consistently reported the donations to the security services, and the Chinese embassy has issued a statement denying the charges. Sir Ian Duncan Smith said it's a matter of grave concern and called for her to be deported.
I really need to know more, and I think we have a right to know more. What is going on here? And if this person has been involved in spying and their son or whatever involved in what I think is clearly a form of spying, then why are they still in the country? These are big questions that we want the government to answer, and the House of Commons needs to make it very clear what they're going to do about future security.
Joe Biden had a tough day on Thursday as first the Supreme Court blocked his vaccine mandate by a 6-3 majority. Then, after a passionate speech in Georgia during the week where he pledged to defend American democracy, Democrats failed in their attempt to break the Senate deadlock and pass legislation to protect voting rights. 2 Democratic senators, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, refused to back the move, which meant the bill didn't pass. Speaking on Capitol Hill, President Biden said this is not over yet.
Like every other major civil rights bill that came along, if we missed the first time, we could come back and try it a second time. We missed this time. I don't know that we can get it done, but I know one thing. As long as I have a breath in me, as long as I'm in the White House, as long as I'm engaged at all, I'm going to be fighting to change the way these legislatures have moving. Thank you.
Still to come on the Smart 7, the lads from The Apprentice have some magical ideas, and it's time to meet your new favourite TV show. Right after this. Welcome back.
Thursday night saw the first leg of the second Carabao Cup semi-final. After a COVID outbreak delayed last week's game, Liverpool took on Arsenal in a bid to join Chelsea in the final. The game ended in a draw despite a red card for Arsenal's Granit Xhaka. Arsenal have home advantage for the second leg, and Jurgen Klopp wasn't blaming COVID for the draw, but he definitely noticed a change in his team after the outbreak.
Even without symptoms, the boys, when they come back, when they didn't have symptoms during the boys come back, and it's not exactly the same. I don't think there's any explanation for that in the moment, but we have to consider that as well, of course.
Another week, another chance for the Apprentice candidates to impress Lord Sugar with their business acumen, creativity and prove they're worthy of a £250,000 investment. Tasked to create a unisex electric toothbrush, the boys put their heads together and went with a wizarding theme. The not unreasonable suggestion of a wand as a toothbrush went through the usual rigorous creative process we know the Apprentice to have. The result? Well, it's one to log down, that's for sure.
I look at the brush and for me it looks like a turd.
A what? A turd. You joking?
Oh. Well, despite its appearance, the brand name will certainly detract from that slightly smelly suggestion. Right, lads?
Whiffy, the wizard.
You seem to be obsessed with turds. You were going to Saturn, right?
Yes.
This thing looks like it came from Uranus.
The season finale of your next favourite show has just aired. I know there's lots of TV out there to watch, so let me tell you, Yellow Jackets is the show you need to be watching. Part Lord of the Flies, part Blair Witch Project, it follows a girls' football team who get stranded in the wild after a plane crash and are forced to do whatever it takes to survive. With Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis in it and a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, what more do you want? Catch up on it right now so you're not trailing behind when everyone's talking about it in season 2 or 3.
I'll never forget the day I heard the plane had gone missing.
We agreed, say no more than we have to. The truth is, the plane crashed. A bunch of my friends died.
I think we both know there's more to it than that.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.